Good evening, everybody. We got a little bit smaller meeting than we have in the past, but as I was explaining to the news, this is probably out of all the areas that the Sheriff's Office covers, this is probably the least populated compared to South, East, and Southwest. But we appreciate you coming. What I want to do is discuss a little bit about our crime statistics and then give you some information and then, of course, answer questions. Before I get started, I'll just actually have these folks introduce themselves and tell you what division they work in, and how many years they've been at the Sheriff's Office and kind of what their experience is. And that way you kind of know the command staff. I like to bring the command staff to these meetings, so when you call, you know who you're going to talk to, usually in the daytime. So start with Captain Denny.
Hi, I'm Captain Royce Denny. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 16 years now. I'm the operations captain at the jail.
Hi. I'm Captain David Johnson. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 21 years, and I'm captain over the Uniform Patrol Division.
My name is Jeremy Lynn. I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 14 years, and I'm currently the captain in the Administrative Division.
My name is Curtis Hunt, and I'm a lieutenant in the Criminal Investigations Division.
Captain Jeff Coonrod. I'm support operations for the jail division, and I've been there 18 years.
I'm Corporal Kathy Ussery. I am the Public Relations Coordinator, and I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 9 years now.
And then I got a couple in the back, so that's you, Andrea, yes.
I'm Andrea Stewart. I've been at the Sheriff's Office for 20 years. I'm the Executive Assistant to the Sheriff. Then we have Terry Hoffman. She is a cop volunteer, so she contacts you people on her own time. She's awesome. Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody. And I'm Jim Arnott. I'm your sheriff. I've been at the Sheriff's Office 28 years. We basically worked my way up, started as a patrolman under Sheriff Pierpont in 1988. And in 88 through the early 90s, District 1, which is where we're at, was my district, so this is where I patrolled. And for those of you that's been around a little while, I used to eat breakfast with Arthur Hughes every morning. Down the road. Before the new chief, I still call him the new chief, who's been here a while, came in. But so I've been in this. I worked a lot in this area early on in my career, and then as I progressed up, I spent a lot of time in the Criminal Investigation Division as a detective, and then was promoted to sergeant, then lieutenant, captain, and chief deputy under Sheriff Jack Merritt, and decided that I wanted to run for sheriff, and so I did. And this. Finishing up my second term and enjoying it and running again. So thanks for coming tonight. We just had somebody else step in, so I'll have them introduce themselves in the back of the room. Commissioner, introduce yourself.
Hi there, we're talking.
Sorry.
My name is Bob Certain. I'm very pleased to serve as your presiding commissioner. And I'm just here not to really do anything, just to support our wonderful sheriff and all the fantastic people he's got working for him. So I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it. All right, just to kind of get in and we'll discuss a little bit about our, and I'll have Kathy and some of these guys pass out these quarterly reports, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. There's a couple articles in there to kind of tell you what we did last quarter, some of the things to be watching out for as far as crime tips. And then one of the things that I wanted to talk about is our first quarter crime statistics. And I don't know if you all have been following in the news kind of the crime statistics, but Springfield Police Department released their crime statistics about a week ago, and that's been a topic of discussion. Out in the county, which we cover 678 square miles, and then everything outside the city limits basically of all the municipalities we handle. And then we support municipalities like Willard Police Department, Ash Grove, Republic, all those when they need assistance. But primarily we handle things that are out in the county. But our crime statistics, if you'll turn onto the back of the page, it will give you the information. So I want to talk about crimes against persons. January through March, we had 1 homicide. We had 7 rapes, which is up quite a bit from 2015. Robberies are down from 4 to 3. Aggravated assaults are up. And simple assault is down a few, so they remain somewhat the same, giving us a 2.92% increase, which I'd prefer that we had a decrease, but a small increase like that is a lot better than compared to, if you look at City of Springfield's, theirs was 10% increase. So we're feeling pretty good that we're trying to keep some things down, and some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is, I think, why some of those stats are down. Crimes against property, which is a lot what we'll talk about tonight, because that's what we deal with in this area more than anything, which is stealing, burglary, those type of things. Up about 2.93%, so about the same increase, which again, I'd rather be going down, but going up a small increase is pretty good compared to where we're at. So one of the big things that we're seeing, and did you guys hand out the crime stats? Okay. Here's a breakdown. I know they're very small, so take them home and read them. But this is where the crimes took place, all the stealings and crimes against property in your area. We pull all this information up, and we want to provide it to you, so it gives you the locations. And we'll also show you some tools, how you can monitor what's going on the internet and kind of know what's going on in your area. That's the big thing that we see out here is stealing. A couple things that we're seeing recently, and I don't know if you've followed on some of our alert systems, but I'll have Kathy explain some of that. One thing that we're seeing quite a bit is these meat sales people that drive around with a freezer in the back of their pickup truck. Well, not all of those are legitimate. I'm not saying there isn't some that are legitimate, but a lot of times what we've seen in last few years' trends is they'll come knock on your door, and a lot of people will ignore them and not come to the door. But what we found to happen is one of them will come around to the back door, kick in the back door when somebody's there if you don't acknowledge that you're there. They're casing the house to look to see if anybody's there. So one thing that I always tell people, if you're at home, at least let them know that you're there. And then if you're uncomfortable with it, pick up the phone and call 911. We'll come out and check it out. It doesn't have to be an emergency, but if you're uncomfortable with somebody coming to your door, we want you to call 911 and we'll respond. The big thing is to let them know, because most of them are they're looking for a crime of opportunity. They're looking for a way to get into your house without any confrontation, any alarm system, any dog, anybody home. That's what they're looking for. So if they think there's somebody there, chances are they're going to go away. If you answer the door, they may give you a sales pitch about meat or whatever they're trying to sell. But a lot of times what we've seen, when people will come up to the door, they'll say, I'm looking for so-and-so, which doesn't make any sense to where you're at. So let people know you're there. Uncomfortable, call 911. There's some of those tips in here, so you can read that. Kathy, you want to come up and show the crime map and kind of what's going on in this area and then how that system works?
Sure. You can access our crime map going on Raids Online, which I pulled up here for you all. This shows the entire county, and this is actually over a 24-hour time period. So the area that would be District 1 would be this northern quadrant area here. Okay, and we can zoom in on that to try to see which crimes have occurred in the area. I'm actually going to expand my search out to include the month of May. It'll show us a little bit more.
And you can get online and kind of play with this, but we'll just kind of give you a basic overview of how it works. And all our statistics that I give you is you can access it yourself. So this information goes in, how often does it upload now?
Every 10 hours is what I'm told is
So every 10 hours, new information will be in there. So you'll be able to see, if you're a nosy neighbor and you want to know what went on at the house across the street, pull that up. Within 10 hours, it'll refresh and give you the information, what type of incident and what's going on.
Nosy is good, isn't it?
Nosy is good. Absolutely.
informed.
That's right.
That's what it is. You're being informed. So, for example, there are, you can see as we zoom in a lot closer, the events that have recently occurred. There's a little $sign here, and you can click on that to pop up, and it will tell you that there was stealing that occurred there on the 23rd of May and gives you an approximate address. We're the ones who took the report on that. The good thing about this particular website is you can sort by whichever type of crimes that you're looking for. If you're curious, say you're moving to the city of Willard and you want to know what types of crimes have occurred in that area, you can put in that address and you can see over the time span of a month, a year, several years to see what has occurred there. If you have family that live on the other side of the county, say a college-age student, and you want to see and make sure that they're living in a safe environment, you can also go in and see how many different types of crimes that have occurred in that area. So it's helpful for other things other than just what you're looking for. You can also filter out the types of crimes.
And this is inside, like Springfield, all their data goes into this system also. So
in showing this over here on the left-hand side, you can see you can toggle whichever type of crime that you're looking for. So if you're looking specifically to see if there's been a home that's been burglarized several times or subdivision, you can also choose that on your filter. And you can get those sent directly to your inbox in your email, or you can get it sent to your phone as well and set up those updates as well. So if you want to know every week, every month, every few months, you can set up that way. And this is actually done across the country, so any police agency that participates on this particular platform, you can get those reports. So like I said, if you have family that lives maybe in another state, and you're curious about that, you can also back out of this area and focus in on that. Sure.
okay, another thing that I talked a little bit about, the aggressive sales and that type of thing. If they come into your area, we want you to call 911, and I want to remind you, 911 is not just for emergencies. If you need us for any reason, and it doesn't have to be an emergency, we want you to call 911. And that is very difficult, even for my wife to do that. When I'm not home and something happens, instead of calling me, I go, call 911. I'm in another state, call 911. Anything suspicious. So if the sheriff's wife doesn't get it, I understand not everybody else gets it. So just make sure you call 911 if you need a deputy. We will respond no matter what. I have a policy at the sheriff's office. If it's a barking dog, if it's a suspicious vehicle, we will come. That's just the bottom line. Now sometimes if it's a Friday or a Saturday night or we have calls backed up, it may be a little bit for the priority of us to get to you, but we will get to you, we will respond, and we will talk to you. I have a rule that we will not talk to you over the phone unless you specifically request to talk to a deputy, because I want them to come out and have that face-to-face contact and try to figure out what's going on. So if you don't get that or you have any issue, I'd like to know about that too. So, but make sure if you have an issue, we want you to call. And we'll talk a little bit, let's talk a little bit about Neighborhood Watch, because that is the thing that gets everybody kind of pulled together and sharing information. This young lady up here has a successful Neighborhood Watch program, I know, because I've gone out and met with them, and I know it works because all the neighbors started talking.
We do Neighborhood Watch.
Excellent, excellent. So the more programs, great. We have several Neighborhood Watch people. So the more programs that we have, the better it is. And we also have a network that we communicate with you, those that are in Neighborhood Watch here, and kind of organized through us. You know that we send you a lot of information. And so Kathy, you want to talk about Neighborhood Watch?
Sure. You know, if you're interested in doing a Neighborhood Watch program and you have not established one, we can help you do that. We can also come in and speak to the Neighborhood Watch groups and let you all know what the current crime trends are, any prevention that we need to let you know about. And we like to stop by whenever you guys are having events, you know, so let us know when you're doing something, whether
Especially
it's
barbecues.
Yes,
We really like
we're
barbecues.
barbecues. So, you know, we will try and stop by, or we'll send a deputy by just to say hello, so you can put a face with a name and get that good positive interaction. The way that we typically will communicate with the Neighborhood Watch groups, we have people like Terry who are phenomenal with getting our information out, but we also put it out on our quarterly public safety report, and we use nextdoor.com. I'm going to pull up nextdoor.com over here. On nextdoor.com, we currently have about 12,000 members, 12,000 different neighborhoods and homes and families that subscribe to this, and it's specific to your neighborhood. So you can put out information strictly to those that live in your subdivision, those that live in your city, and you can go ahead and click on however close that you want to be or how expansive. So you can do something that's county-wide or smaller. And you can see that the different neighborhoods pop up here. So this would be the neighborhood that we would be looking at right now. So whatever is affected in that area, whether it's cattle theft, mail theft, vandalisms, things of that nature, and we try to push it out to those specific neighborhoods that it's affecting, unless we think that it's something that's affecting everyone countywide. And it's a good network for those of you that do have neighborhood watch groups, because you guys can communicate with one another without worrying about it being plastered on Facebook or any of the other social media outlets out there. So it's specific to what you guys need it to do, and it's geared for you all, and it's a closed network, so that way only those that live within that area or within that highlighted region will get that information. Okay? And in order to sign up for it, you just go to nextdoor.com, and you can plug in the information. You can, if you have a group that's not established in there, you can start it off as a lead. There are several people that participate on nextdoor.com that are wonderful with helping you set things up. They can give you tutorials of how to maneuver through it and how to get the information pushed out. We also use Nixle.com. Nixle will send out alerts to your phone. If you type in Greene, Greene, to 888-777, you'll get all of our alerts directly to your phone. So regardless if you're at home, if you're at work, if there's something that's occurring that we think that you need to know about, it'll come directly to your phone. Because not everybody's on the internet, not everybody's on Facebook. So these are ways that we can get information out to you.
What was that called?
It's called Nixle, Nixle. Nixle. That's actually on the back of our quarterly public safety report.
Oh, yeah.
So that way you can send that out to your.
Yeah, and we're gonna, I know we talk quick and we go through a lot of information, but most of it's on here. But if you have any question, Kathy's email is on here, and you can also go to our website and send me an email, and I'll respond to you also. So be happy to walk you through those things. Nixle is what Kathy just talked about is a great program, because that pushes out all of our information every time we have an alert, whether it's even if it's some weather stuff, bad weather stuff we'll put out, but it really keeps you informed on what's going on in your neighborhood, even when you're not there. The other prevention thing that I want to talk about is our, if you go on vacation, you live in the county, we have a vacation watch program.
Awesome.
So we want you to call in and let us know when you're going on vacation, who's supposed to be at your house, what lights are on, and most important, your contact number if something happens. If you think about it, a lot of times people go on vacation, the neighbors don't know, and when something happens, your house is unsecure. If your house gets burglarized, we don't know who to call. It's really a big ordeal. So this not only helps you, but it helps us. One thing that our Citizens on Patrol program takes care of, and you've probably seen our cars out there that says COP on the side of it, they will actually go by and check your house. They try to do it once a day to make sure everything's good. But we need you to give us that information. It's not a burden to us. It's actually a help to us to kind of know that you're gone and how to contact you.
That's huge, because we've only lived here 10 weeks, and so we won't have known the neighbours by the time we do go away. So
That's great.
reassuring to know.
Well, welcome. Call us. We'll take care of it. But welcome to Greene County. So
How do we access this vacation program, please?
just call the office, 417-868-4040.
Captain Johnson's information is on the back of the vacation.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can call me by phone and I'll take your.
Yep, it's actually right here. Captain Johnson's doing that. So
Oh, cool. Thank
you can call his direct number, and he'll take care of getting you set up for it.
Okay.
The big thing, talk about prevention. The big things that we look about, not only the standard things like have somebody pick up your newspaper, get your mail stopped. We have such an issue with mail thefts and package thefts. And if you'll know, in the county, we get people that actually follow the mail carrier around, and as soon as the mail carrier drives off, they drive up and try to take your mail. Now we're getting it with Amazon, UPS, FedEx. When they see a UPS truck go down the road, they know that somebody's getting a package on their front porch, and so they'll follow that around until they can steal the package. So we try to say, if you know you're getting something, try to get it off your porch as quick as possible. And I also recommend don't put mail in your mailbox to go out, drop it off at the post office or something like that, because it's usually your bills that they're looking for with your checks, and a lot of people still send cash in the mail. don't send cash in the mail, but people still do it anyway because there's grandkids that they don't want a check, they want cash. So I get it, but that's what those people are looking for. It's a big deal. Identity theft, has anybody been a victim of identity theft in here? It's a huge mess, isn't it? Even if you do all the right things and follow the steps, your credit's messed up, a lot of things. I mean, it's a horrible deal. So try to prevent it as much as you can. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, thefts from vehicles. One of the big things that we have, and not as much up north as we do down south, is people will park their vehicles in their driveway and not put it in their garage, but they also leave their garage door opener in their car. And so they'll either unlock it or not unlock it, but either way, the bad guy's going to either break your window or get your garage door opener, open it, come into your house. And ladies, I know that you put your purse on the chair in your bedroom because it's either in your car or on a chair in your bedroom, and I know that because of all the reports that I've taken for people stealing it. So they will actually come into your bedroom while you are sleeping. This happens often, and they will take your stuff. The other thing, ladies, don't put your jewelry in the bathroom drawer, which a lot of you do, or in your top dresser drawer, because that's where the bad guys look. Put it somewhere else that's a little bit difficult for them to find if you don't want them to take it, because that's what they go for right away. That's probably the big thing. Burglaries have been down a little bit up here. Our thefts have been up. District 2, which is Fairgrove area, we've had daytime burglaries over there, so it's only a matter of time that it's going to move this direction. And we have an increase in meat sales people too. So I don't know if it's a coincidence, but just be leery of people driving around that doesn't belong. If somebody doesn't belong in your area and you know that, and they're stopping at a neighbor's house, call 911. We want you to call. We want to go check it out. Your information may tie to clearing up several burglaries, several thefts. Here's the thing. You are not bothering us when you call. I can't emphasize that enough. If you have something stolen, we want you to report it. I've recovered a lot of property that nobody reported stolen, so I could never make a case. I could never get a case on the bad guy, and I could never return it back to people because they thought, I don't want to inconvenience them. It's only a radar detector. It's only a GPS unit, and only lost 20 bucks and change. Well, we may have picked up a guy down the road with $20 and change that we can't match it up to. So it's important that you call us. Any questions so far? I know I've gone pretty fast. Let me touch on, which is usually a hot topic, CCW, carry concealed weapons, constitutional carry. There's a lot of talk in the news about that. The governor has a bill on his desk to sign to have constitutional carry. I'm not opposed to that. I'm a pro-Second Amendment person. I believe that everybody, whether they're carrying a gun or not, should go through a CCW class or some instructions, not only how to use the gun, but what your rights are. What you need to know not is how to use the gun, but how not to lose your house after you use your gun, how to not get sued. How does Missouri protect you? You know, I always get the thing usually every meeting that somebody says, well, do I still need to drag him into the living room, sheriff, off the porch? And, you know, those things come up, and if you took the CCW class, you would kind of know some of that information. That's my only concern with this new bill, is that no longer people will have education on their rights and handguns, because people generally won't take the time to go look at that. They'd rather just carry a gun and think they know what they can do and what they can't do. So that's the only concern I have with it, is the educational part. But you've not been seeing in the news a lot of the people that are carrying concealed, how they're taking care of crimes before they commit or get committed. There was somebody last week in the news interrupted a robbery, and I mean, there's just a lot of things like that going on. So carrying a concealed weapon is not a bad thing. I think we have probably the need to protect our own family and ourselves. So if you're considering it, I would like you to go take a a course, and we have a list of approved instructors on our website. If you're interested, even if you're not interested in having a gun or owning a gun, you can go to the course and kind of know what your rights are. So I would recommend that.
Sheriff Arnott,
Yes,
how
ma'am.
many concealed carry do we have in our Greene County, and is the number of applicants on the rise?
Oh, that's a great question. Andrea, I just had those stats last week. Do you remember how many we have out right now? Yeah, Terry, have any idea total?
14,200.
Okay.
Wow.
Terry's our CCW expert in the back. He's the one that issues them. So, well, he's a very busy man. And
Some question, I didn't hear what that question.
how many carry concealed weapon permits do we have in Greene County? 14,200. The other part of the question, I think, was there is a backlog. We are way behind on issuing them. And we're fixing that. We're actually moving to a bigger space. We're trying to get more help. We've actually have some overtime money that we're paying employees to try to get, if you have an appointment, we're trying to get you in quicker. So we're working on that, and we hope to, by September, we're hoping that we'll be pretty close out when you call to get an appointment. Why does it take so long? I get that question asked all the time. Well, there's several things that we do that maybe be unique than other counties do. We actually do a thorough background check. We not only check our records, but we check other agencies' records. We run a criminal history. We check to see in our what's called our CAD, our computer-aided dispatch. We check to see if somebody's been 96 houred or been committed to a mental institution that wouldn't show up on a law enforcement record somewhere. We check that to make sure that the people are okay. And I just told the gentleman here from the media that I turn down probably 2 a week that I don't feel should have a concealed weapon. And although I've got a high volume of people coming in, I also have a small percentage that shouldn't carry guns. And I'm about as pro Second Amendment sheriff as you can get. But there is a limitation. There's people that are not capable. So.
Sir, to carry one step further, what about the individuals who can carry unconcealed?
Yeah.
On my hip here.
Well, that's great. Her question was, what about the people that carry it unconcealed, that carry open carry? Here's how I look at that. And I always talk about things as like a coach of a football team. Here's the bottom line. When I go into a restaurant, and I go into a lot of restaurants in Springfield and people are open carrying, and I sit down and think, when the robbery goes bad, they're going to shoot that guy first. I mean, he's the guy that's open carrying. He's the one that's got the target on his back. It's the guy with the concealed weapon, like myself, that's going to take care of the problem afterwards. Another issue is that you see a lot of these guys and gals carrying guns into Walmart. Does it cause affront or alarm to people on the north side of Walmart where somebody's in with a gun? Yes, it brings attention everywhere. I live in Fairgrove, so it's small town. I go to the MFA. Farmer's got a revolver on. It doesn't even faze me. I mean, I don't even think twice. I walk down the aisle, get what I need to get. But it's different. You got to understand, it's different where you live. And so there's a lot of concerns about that and the reasons why people are carrying open carry. I'm more of a, I don't want the bad guy to know I want to have a tactical advantage. Although us in uniform, we need to have it readily accessible, so we carry open carry. But it doesn't bother me that people are carrying open because they stick out. And we treat everybody, law enforcement treats everybody like they're carrying a gun, whether it's concealed or not. And so it doesn't bother me too much. Usually it's the guys with the $20 Velcro holster and the $15 gun is what you see. So chances are it's not going to go off when they draw it anyway. So,
We hope not.
but that's a great question. Anybody else? Kathy, you got any other deals that we need to talk about? Program stats. If you need anything, we want you to call us. If you have any situations that you don't feel like you were treated right, or there's an issue with a deputy, I want you to call me. You can pretty much contact me at any time by sending me an email, and these folks will tell you that I'm up at 1 and 2 in the morning, and I'll return your email. So if you send me an email at night, I'll probably send it right back to you.
Get some rest, please.
So, no, it's just that's when I do my best thinking. But anyway, so get a hold of us if you have issues or if you have anything we want you to know. I'm big on customer service because as a sheriff, I'm elected by the people. I'm elected by you, and I want to do a good job for you, and I want you to give me some feedback as to how we're doing. So please don't hesitate to call.
Kathy mentioned something earlier about on the CCW about being able to get a permit or something like that. He was going to speak on something like that.
On how to get a permit, or
Oh, I think in the news,
Yeah, the news is talking about you may get a permanent or
oh.
lifetime or whatever that's it.
Yeah, the question was about lifetime carry permit, and there's several things, and I've got the bill that is on the governor's desk to be signed. Now the governor is not going to sign this. I just know the governor. He's not going to sign it, so then it's going to go to, he's going to veto it. It'll go to a veto override. There'll be some changes. I'm not sure how it will actually come out, and it's just like any bill or any law, it seems to change. So we'll see what comes out in it. But yes, there's a provision for a lifetime carry. There's some weird things to that. If you're a CCW holder and you get one through, say you live in Greene County and you get a permit to carry in Missouri, there's reciprocity, meaning you can go to other states that have CCW and carry there. Well, this constitutional carry bill doesn't allow you to do that. You can only carry in Missouri, but then when you go out of state, you have to have a Missouri CCW. So we will still offer a permit no matter what for those people that want to be covered that way. It's a loophole that they, in any new statute, usually has several things that are kind of strange in it. We'll see how it comes out, and then we can kind of address it. But
Yeah, one more quick question.
Sure.
They say that Missouri's still a retreat state, basically.
Right.
If I know if you told me to watch your car, I can protect your car or your house or my yard. How am I, like if I'm in the park and someone's coming to assault me, can I protect myself? Or
sure.
not?
Yeah, and what you're talking about, just kind of a couple different things. There's, which could pass, which is a no retreat on protecting your property, not necessarily yourself. But say you're in a park, you're at your home, you're in your yard, wherever you're at, and somebody comes to attack you and you feel imminent threat that something's going to happen. You have the right, absolutely, to defend yourself. If you feel that your life is threatened, you can defend yourself with deadly force. The big thing, like I say, that I really want people to go through the CCW class, even if you're not going to carry a gun, to learn what your rights are. You have a lot of rights under the Castle Doctrine bill here in Missouri. We've got a lot of rights that we didn't used to have. So you're protected basically anywhere under a roof. Say you're in your car, somebody tries to carjack you, you feel threatened for your life, yes, you can use deadly force. If you're on your front porch, you no longer have to drag them into your living room. You're safe under your front porch. So think about it, anywhere you're under a roof, you're pretty much protected to use deadly force to defend yourself. And there's several other pieces to that, but I want to see what's going to happen with this bill to see if it's actually going to make it and how much of it's going to make it all the way through. And then we'll have to probably, I want to do a public campaign to talk about what your rights are, and because one of the issues is if it does go through, there's so many loopholes that we need to fill the public in on what you can do and what you can't do. What I don't want to see is somebody shooting somebody and then losing whatever they worked for their entire life because they didn't understand the law. And that's the dangerous thing when you have some of these things, all this information put out with not anything really. Number one, it's not law yet. So,
I went to the, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The Justice Center and did that video wall one time, you know.
Uh-huh.
And a lady shot someone at her car, and as she come by me, I'm popping at the window. You can't do that. She's leaving. I just saw her kill somebody. I can't stop her. That don't make sense to me.
right. Well, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, but especially with that, I mean, that person is retreating. You know, we always say be a great witness. That's the big thing that we want. But if you're in fear, we want you to protect yourself.
Right.
However, here's the thing, and this is the thing about like police. One of the big topics now is body cams and police video and everything. Everybody wants to have everything on video. But I can show you examples even from our own video that from the perspective you're seeing it, you think something is happening, but you go to another perspective in another car and it is totally different. So that person driving by, you may not have seen that person killing somebody. You think you did, but maybe you didn't. So where do you fall in that? If you act out a good, you know, what you think you saw, are you protected civilly too? You may not get prosecuted, but you also may lose your house. So those are the things you got to consider when you're making those decisions. So hopefully I can push out some information on that. We'll see what this statute happens.
Sheriff,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
I do not have a concealed carry, what are my rights to carry a pistol in my vehicle?
Oh, great question. If you don't have a CCW, what are your rights to carry in your vehicle? You can carry a gun loaded in your vehicle. You can carry it concealed in your vehicle, anywhere in your vehicle. Ready access to it. You can. You just cannot carry it on your person.
Got you.
Okay? So if it's in your car concealed, you're perfectly legal. What I'd recommend, if you get stopped, let the officer know. And that way there's no thing that they could be upset about and overreact. Just let them know. But yes, you're perfectly legal in the state of Missouri to carry a loaded, concealed handgun in the vehicle or weapon in the vehicle. Mm-hmm.
All this talk about defending ourselves, I do a lot of biking out in the county. Should I be concerned? I mean, knock on wood, maybe my naivete, I haven't ever had an issue.
You should be concerned with dogs more than people, probably, in the county, because that's a big issue. You know, we've actually had somebody die.
3 times, yes.
So I'll start off with the one thing. Dogs, bring pepper mace with you. It takes care of them really quick, and it's not a lasting effect, and there's no issue. You can pick it up at Kelly's Police Supply on Sunshine and Fort. There are several places in town, but that's the one that just, I'm not promoting them, that's just the one that came to.
I'm not going to have an irate owner of that dog coming after me.
You may, but you won't have a bleeding leg either. So, yeah.
Also, they have to maintain control of their animals. And if you're on a public roadway, if the animal comes out onto the public roadway and tries to bite you.
Well, I must have a sign on my back, dogs bite here.
Well, that's pretty standard for, and even on the trail, a goat will attack you up here. So, if you guys read that on Facebook, but okay, but yeah, there's a goat up there that'll get you too. So be careful of the goat. That's what happens when you're a sheriff. You deal with all kinds of stuff: goats, dogs.
It was real.
But as people goes, you know, I'm not paranoid, but I'm a realist because we live in this world today. And if you get a CCW permit, I would say carry a gun. If you're not comfortable with it, it's not for everybody. So if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it, because that's giving somebody else an opportunity to take a gun from you. But take the class if you're interested. And dogs, you know, spray them with pepper mace.
I
So.
understand wasp spray does a nasty thing to their face too. It may harm them long
Yes.
term.
Yeah.
Am I going to be a problem child if I do that?
I would go with pepper mace. It has a quick effect, and nobody can go after you later for.
It's not lethal.
What potency is that, sir?
This is a lot. This is the police stuff, but we carry the Fox brand. I don't know what they carry, but this stuff is, get the string, don't get the fog, or else you'll
Get
spray
the
yourself.
string.
Yeah.
The string, yeah. It's potent stuff.
Unless you're a really bad aim, then get the fog. But yeah, when they say this stuff, they've already done it. They've done it. So Anything else? Well, I got a couple guests in the room I want to announce sitting in the back of the room. Police Chief from Willard, Tom McLean.
Hello. Glad you're here.
And Chief Lawton from the Republic Police Department is hanging out here in the back with us too. So our partners working together, we get a lot of stuff done. So no matter what you hear on the news or what any mayor says, we have a good relationship. All of us have a good relationship that work on the street together to get things done. So we're not politicians. Well, I'm kind of one, but not really. I'm not a good one, let's put it that way. So any other questions? Thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Come visit with the folks here if you have any questions, and please call us if you need us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Some of us